Welcome back to the Physiology Pulse. Today's topic is trigeminal system. So the trigeminal system is nothing but your face sensory and motor wiring. Sensory and motor wiring. It's cranial nerve 5, the fifth cranial nerve, which is the fifth cranial nerve. Think of it like everything face and head gets felt through the fifth cranial nerve. Okay, everything of the face and head can be felt through the fifth cranial nerve. Okay, now what does trigeminal nerve do here? Two things, sensory and motor. First is sensory we'll be talking about, which is it carries touch, pain, temperature from face, scalp, mouth, teeth, nose, basically all your face and head. Sensory actions are carried. Next is motor actions, which is it controls muscles of the chewing. That is the motor action which a trigeminal nerve does. Now, key point here to remember is trigeminal is only for face and head. Okay, it does not supply to the neck and the body. Trigeminal nerve is only for face and head. Okay. Now, the divisions of the trigeminal nerve. Okay, forehead, face and jaw are the three divisions it will cover. Okay, remember as V1, V2 and V3. Okay, so division V1 is for the ophthalmic name. You can see this is name, this is division and this is the area it supplies. Okay, V1 it is for name ophthalmic. We can name it as ophthalmic, and area it supplies is for forehead, scalp, upper lid and the nose tip. From nose you can see it is going up. Okay. Upper eyelid you can see, upper eyelid, scalp, forehead and nose tip. Next comes the maxillary. Next is maxillary, and it's the areas it supplies is the cheek, lower lid, upper lip, teeth, nose, whole nose basically, okay, and the palate. That is for the maxillary division. Okay, then comes the mandibular division. Now, mandibular, what all the area it supplies to? It supplies to the lower lip, chin, lower teeth, tongue, and the front 2/3 jaw. Front 2/3 and jaw. Tongue, front 2/3 and the jaw. Okay, that are the areas which it is supplying. Next is the trigeminal pathway. We'll be talking about trigeminal pathway, and it also has 3 neurons involved here. We'll be starting from neuron 1, which is it starts from the face. Now, cell body sits in the semilunar or Gassarian ganglion near the temple, which is nothing but the forehead, upper scalp area, that is the temple. Neuron type here, what it is playing role is the pseudo bipolar neuron. One processes which splits up and down. Only one processes which splits up and down. That is pseudo bipolar. Okay, it carries sensation from the face to the brainstem. Neuron 1 starts in the face, right? So it starts from the face and it will pass to the brainstem. Next is neuron 2, which is brainstem relay. Okay, trigeminal nerve enters the brainstem. Okay, after that it ends in 2 main nuclei there. It will end in 2 main nuclei there. First one is main sensory nucleus. That is for touch, pressure, vibration. These two sensations, touch, pressure and vibrations from the face, like dorsal column for body. Okay. Next is spinal nucleus. This is for what? This is for again pain and temperature only. Pain and temperature from where? From face. This is like spinothalamic tract for the body. Okay. Now spinal nucleus. This spinal nucleus, it has again three parts here. First is caudal, next is interpolar, and the third one is oral. We'll be talking about caudal now. Okay. This is the most important part for pain. It receives pain from the whole face. The caudal nucleus, the spinal three parts, right? The first part, which is caudal part, it receives pain from the whole face. Cut here to treat trigeminal neuralgia. So usually we cut here. So this part of spinal nucleus is basically cut to treat trigeminal neuralgia. That is what we were talking about. Trigeminal neuralgia is when you have this shocking electrical impulses, right? Electrical continuous impulses. Trigeminal neuralgia. Okay, you have to cut up certain portion to control it. So surgery should be done. That is what we were talking about. So the exact cut is the caudal part to treat the trigeminal neuralgia. Okay. Next is the interpolar, which is for teeth, gums, mouth mucosa. These three. Next comes oral. Pain from where? Oral itself says that it is pain from the mouth cavity. So these are the three parts of the spinal nucleus. Next comes the neuron 3. Neuron 3 goes directly to the brain. Fibers cross to the opposite side here, from then go up as a trigeminal lemniscus, and then it will end up in the thalamus. Then this thalamus will send it to the sensory cortex. Okay, this is the pathway here from trigeminal lemniscus. It will end in thalamus, and thalamus will send to sensory cortex. Now we'll be talking about thalamus nuclei, which is VPL. It will get input from rostral spinal 5. Okay. And main sensory. Now PO gets input from the caudal spinal V. Okay. Now trigeminal lemniscus, which is the highway. After crossing, fibers run with medial lemniscus to the thalamus. That's why it is called trigeminal lemniscus. Okay, after crossing, what will happen? These trigeminal fibers, they will run with the medial lemniscus to the thalamus. That is why it is known as the trigeminal lemniscus, because trigeminal nerves are following it, right? That is why. Now the applied physiology here is important things you have to remember about trigeminal neuralgia, also called as tic douloureux. This we already spoke in the previous class, which is painful twitch. What it is sudden, severe, stabbing face pain lasting for few seconds. Okay. So the trigger zones here are touching cheek, lip, nose, teeth, or even talking or chewing can also trigger the pain. So it is that sensitive here. So the cause of this is the compression of the trigeminal nerve root, often by the blood vessels. Due to any reasons, the compression of the nerve root, if this happens, you can have the trigeminal neuralgia condition. Okay. The treatment for this is drugs first. First they will try with drugs. If it doesn't work, surgery can cut the nerve or relieve the compression. Either they can relieve it if possible or completely cut the nerve, which is causing the pain, trigeminal neuralgia effect. Okay, that particular nerve root they will cut. Okay. So the must-know points for the examination here are trigeminal supplies, face, oral cavity and head, not neck here. Okay. It will not supply to neck. So 3 divisions are there here. V1 for forehead, V2 for face, and V3 is for jaw. Next, pain pathway. How will that start? It will start from face, then Gasserian ganglion, then spinal nucleus of the 5, and then it crosses to the opposite side, pass through the trigeminal lemniscus, reach the thalamus, and which further goes and reach the cortex. Now the touch pathway, that is pain pathway for you all. Now touch pathway, it is nothing but it starts from the face. Then it goes to Gasserian ganglion, from which it will reach the main sensory nucleus. There again, via the trigeminal lemniscus, it will reach the thalamus, after which it will finally reach the cortex. Okay. Now trigeminal neuralgia. It is a condition of severe stabbing face pain triggered by even a light touch due to nerve root compression. Whenever you get this word trigeminal neuralgia, you have to remember only one point, that is nerve root compression. That's it. Trigeminal nerve V equals to face pain, touch and chewing nerve. Right? Now here we are for the trigeminal pathway diagram. So this diagram shows how sensations from your face reach the brain through the trigeminal nerve. That is the cranial nerve 5. Okay. Now the face is divided into 3 areas. From the face, it is going where semilunar ganglion. This is semilunar ganglion. Can you see? Semilunar ganglion, which is the starting point basically. From face to semilunar ganglion is a starting point. Face is divided again into 3 parts. 3 parts, right? V1, V2 and V3. V1 is the ophthalmic part, forehead, upper eyelid and nose tip. These 3 are covered here. V1. V2 is maxillary, cheek, lower eyelid, upper lip. You can see. This one is V1 basically. V2, V3. Okay. Now you can easily remember. V1, V2 and V3. Now V2 you can observe cheek, lower eyelid, upper lip are covered here. In V3 you can see lower lip, chin, jaw. These 3, the blue area basically. So all 3 branches send signals to where? To the semilunar ganglion, which is cluster of nerve cell bodies near your temple. Okay. Cluster of nerve cell ganglions. Now, semilunar ganglion, from semilunar ganglion, it is going to the brainstem nuclei, if you can see. It is going to the brainstem nuclei. So, from ganglion, fibers here enter the brainstem and split into 2 places, firstly. First is main sensory nucleus, second is spinal nucleus. This is spinal nucleus, this is main sensory nucleus. This is one and this is one. Okay. Now, what is happening? Main sensory nucleus handles touch, pressure, vibration from the face. These 3 things it will handle here, like fine touch center. Now, spinal nucleus. What will it handle? It handle pain, temperature from face. These 2 things. And it has again 3 parts from top to bottom. First is oral. Next is interpolar. And the third one is caudal, which is most important for the pain. This is where the chronic face pain fibers end here. So this is most important for pain. So this is from the semilunar ganglion. It will reach to main sensory nucleus and the spinal nucleus. Brainstem nuclei, these 2 are. Okay. Now after this, from the brainstem nuclei, which is divided into two parts, from these two, from here few and from here few, where will they go? They reach the thalamus, crossing the highway. When you are going from here to here and here to here, it is nothing but it is crossing the highway. So fibers from both nuclei cross to the opposite side and travel up as a trigeminal lemniscus. So this is the trigeminal lemniscus we were talking about. Okay, this is trigeminal lemniscus. So via trigeminal lemniscus, they will pass upwards. Okay, they reach the thalamus at three nuclei. Three nuclei it will reach. First one is VPM, which is ventral posterior medial nucleus. This is ventral posterior medial nucleus. Okay. Next is posterior nucleus completely. This is posterior nucleus. This is posterior nucleus. Now comes to S2. Second sensory cortex, basically. Some also go here, so we can say second sensory cortex. This is first sensory, this is second sensory cortex. So they some also go to that, okay? But the main ones reach this and this. Few here, if you can see, few are also going here, few are going here. These all are going to PU, posterior nucleus. And here, from here also, it will reach the ventral posterior medial nucleus. Only few from here will go to second sensory cortex and reach there, okay? Now from there, which is the thalamus area, from there it will reach the cortex. Cortex is a place where you can feel the sensation. Now thalamus sends signals to the S1. It will send signals to the S1. From here, if you can see, it is going to S1. From here also, all three will go to S1. Okay, they will go to S1 like this. They will go to S1 again. Okay, which is primary sensory cortex. Now you can actually feel the pain, touch or temperature on your face. Now did you get it? Easy way to remember from face V1, V2, V3. They will go to the semilunar ganglion. From semilunar ganglion, they will go and reach the main sensory and spinal nucleus. After which they will cross across, and then they will go to the reach as trigeminal lemniscus. Via trigeminal lemniscus, they will reach the VPM thalamus and S2, which is secondary sensory cortex, and posterior nucleus, VPM and posterior nucleus, few to the secondary sensory cortex, and then from there they will reach the sensory cortex, which is the S1, primary sensory cortex they will reach. Okay, that is the easy way to remember pathway of the trigeminal. Okay, now the key points here you can remember is trigeminal, which is for face and head sensation and chewing muscles. Spinal nucleus caudal for pain center. This is spinal nucleus caudal is the pain center, actual pain center. Cut here to treat. You have to cut here to treat the trigeminal neuralgia. You have to cut here to treat trigeminal neuralgia. Right? Next is touch and pain. Use different nuclei but same lemniscus. See, touch and pain has different nuclei. Spinal nuclei, main sensory nuclei, they use different, but they reach the thalamus via same lemniscus. They reach via same lemniscus, trigeminal lemniscus, to reach the cortex of the brain. So that is trigeminal pathway for you all. Thank you. Keep following for more